Strategic dream. Putting the power of your subconscious mind to work. Reach new levels of career success using the power of your subconscious mind by Joseph Murphy. Chapter 17. Selling your ideas. Increase your sales by repeating this statement over and over again. My sales are improving every day. I am advancing, progressing, and getting wealthier every day. In your job and in other aspects of your life, you often have to persuade people to accept your ideas. To succeed, you must think like a salesperson. By studying and applying the techniques successful salespersons use, you will improve your capability and accomplish this. Of the many elements that enter into scientific selling, none is more essential than that of persuasion. Salespeople often find a would-be customer's mind absolutely opposed to theirs. The customer do not want the merchandise, or at least think they do not, and are determined not to buy it. They brace themselves against all possibilities of persuasion, of being influenced to do what they have decided not to do. A little later, however, they cheerfully buy the article, pay for it, and feel sure they really want it. Their entire attitude has been changed by the art of persuasion, of winning over, which was all done by successive logical steps, each of which had to be taken in order or failure would have resulted. You can learn to be a persuasive person. Just as men and women are born with natural gift for music and for art, so certain men and women have, in a high degree, the natural qualities that enable them to persuade others to their way of thinking. While it is true that some people have more natural capacity at this than others, it is also that the most people can, by training this, acquire the skill needed to succeed in persuasion. In addition, even if an untrained individual has natural talents in many areas, such as athletic, oratory, or commercial pursuits, people can be trained to become the equal of that individual. Don't attribute a lost sale or a poor business decision to hard luck. It is often caused by ignorance of the science of selling or management. Business is like science, and almost any honest, dead in earnest, determined person can become an expert at it. If that person is willing to dedicate himself or herself, let's look at that one job where persuasiveness is a major element: selling. Even if you are not selling a product or a service, but you are selling your ideas to other people, you must think of yourself as a salesperson. To find out whether you have persuasive ability, you must analyze your talent. In this matter, however, it should be borne in mind that human nature, especially in youth, is plastic, and that we can be molded by others, or we can mold ourselves. Even if you do not have a decided talent for selling, it can be acquired by proper training in selling, which means the right kind of reading, observing, listening, and practicing. You can develop your ability and become a good salesperson. Get the other person's attention. In order to persuade another person to buy your product or service, or to accept your ideas, you must first get their full attention. Otherwise, nothing you say will ever be listened to. It is often a difficult matter to get the attention of someone who at least is not interested in what you have to say, and at most may be braced against you. But it is absolutely necessary before you can persuade anybody to do what you want to do and done, to secure that person's attention. When dealing with a person you work with, you can get his or her attention by commenting about something you know will be of interest to him or her. It is not necessary to speak or trivial or extraneous matter to attract that person's attention. A direct question or comment on the situation involved is a good first step. For example, If you wish to persuade a colleague to serve on a commute, to evaluate a new piece of equipment, a comment about that freaking breakdown of current equipment will surely get attention. Sometimes you must take dramatic steps to get the attention of people who are reluctant and accept what you are selling. In the early 1990s, Continental Airlines ranked last in customer service among the 10 largest airlines. Bureaucracy was stifling everything from determining the color of pencils used on boarding passes to how a form should be folded. Obeying these rules as specific in the rule book, there actually was one, was considered more important than making creative decisions. There was no time to waste. In order to get the idea across that the rule book was being done away with for all time, CEO Gordon Bethune took a group of employees into the parking lot. He threw the rulebook into a 50-gallon drum, doused it with gasoline, and set it afire. Word spread like wildfire, and Continental was on its way to rebuilding employee morals and success. Getting attention needs not be this dramatic. Sometimes asking a key question will do the trick by praising the question in a way that suggests you may have a solution to a problem. You are sure to get the attention of the other party. When Darlene D wanted to sell her boss on instituting a flexible hour program in her department, she approached her boss with this question: Dave, I know no concerned you are with the lower productivity we have been experiencing. One of the causes of this is our difficulty in recruiting good clerical workers. If there was a way to attract more skilled people, you would want to know about it, wouldn't you? The only response Dave could give was yes. So now had his attention and was able to present her arguments by considering her suggestion. Another way of gaining attention is to be creative. Natalie Carson, head of Women's Apparel of TravelSmith, a travel outfitting business, got her boss' attention by reporting: Ask any woman what she believes is the single essential item in every woman's closet. She'll most likely say, a little black dress. Scott Sclatt, co-CEO of TravelSmith, didn't think dresses belonged in his catalog. Miss Carson thought otherwise. Carson spent long weekends in Paris. Her husband worked there, and she knew she was right. So she went on the hunt for the perfect black knit, wrinkle-free dress that will make her feel at home among the stylish women at dinner parties. Unable to find one, she designed and developed her own perfect little black travel dress and demonstrated that it clearly solved the problem. Skylar listened and was persuaded. Results: the little black wrinkle-free travel dress has been the #1 product in her catalog ever since. This led to Natalie Carson's promotion to Vice President of Merchandising. Arouse desire. Once you gain attention, the next step is to get the person to be truly interested in her proposition. You must arouse the desire to embrace the idea that you are proposing. Once this is accomplished, acceptance is almost certain. To do this, you must appeal to the emotions, to the heart rather than to the head. You will never arouse a person's desire by talking about what you want. First, you must explore what others person really wants. What is important to that person? What turns him or her on? To do this, you must truly listen to what that person says and answer to your question. Listen carefully. Be prepared to pick up subtitles that can lead you to that person's real interest. Then, by adapting your comments to fit into that person's desire, you are on the way to winning your point. I was talking recently with some friends about the rapid rise of a young salesman that surprised everybody who knew him. One of my friends said that the whole secret was his marvelous power to persuade people to change their minds, to make a prospect see things from his point of view. He said he had never before met another person who had such remarkable success in changing another's mind to his way of thinking. And this, he added, is the essence. This questions is, if you will, or selling the power to make another see things as we see them. How did he do this? He sought and found what was in the heart of the prospect, what was the one thing that would really affect that prospect's thinking. By listening intently, observing facial expressions and body language, he targeted the key factor. Most often, he told me, it was an emotional rather than a practical factor. The best and most successful teachers are not always the most learned, but those who get hold of the heart of their pupils, those who possess kindness, personal interest, and sympathy, qualities which apart from scholarships makes the best teachers. These same qualities give all of us the basic ingredients to be persuasive people. While education and intelligence are indispensable, it is nor so much smartness as the warm human heart qualities that make a person popular and successful. Be sincere. Some people have sort of hypnotic power that passes for persuasiveness and enables them to get what they want at the outset. But it is not based on honesty, and it is, and in the long run, seriously hurts the business. An example of this is the magnetic spell biting sales rep who will often bring in larger orders than some other sales reps, but in the end will lose customers and injure the reputation of the company. Better is the one who does not sell nearly as much to start with, but will make many more friends and will hold customers because he or she looks out for their interest and only tries to sell them what it is to their advantage to buy. By studying their needs and winning their confidence and goodwill, this sales rep establishes a long-term profitable relationship. The ability to make others think as you do is a tremendous power and carries great responsibility. If it is not kindly and honestly used, it will prove boomerang and injure most the one who uses it. Such people will soon become known as spellbinders and will turn people off. Today, it is the clean, straight from the shoulders, cold fact talk that most people want. Yet people of persuasive powers can present those facts in such way that the prospect will be made to feel that the presenter is a friend who is acting entirely in the prospect's interest. No one relishes the idea of being managed, and no matter how much the other person loves flattery, your motives will be questioned if you attempt it. Very tactful and honest praise, however, will help your cause considerably. Remember that the person with whom you are dealing with will always be on guard against any sort of deceit and will be looking for evidence or insincerity. Nobody wants to be duped or lured into surrender. Above all, remember that there is no substitute for scenery in any field. Considering the other person's interest. There is nothing that will make the place in our lives of absolute transparency, simplicity, honesty, and kindness. The golden rule is the only rule of conduct that will bring true success in any business. Who you are in the doubt as to how you act will affect another, just ask yourself this question: would I like to have someone else to do this to me? Nathan Strauss, an early co-founder of Macy's department store, a noted philanthropist, was asked what had contributed most to the success of his remarkable career, replied, "I always looked out for the person at the other end of the bargain." He said that if he got a bad bargain himself, he could stand it, even if he loses very heavy. But he could never afford to have that person who he dealt with get a bad bargain. By always looking at the transaction from the point of view of the other parties involved, Strauss placed the focus on what the other parties perceived was the best interest. Measure the other person. An important step in becoming a persuasive person is to make a study of the power of penetration, of character reading ability. Make it your business to study people and the motives that actuate them. Expertise in reading human nature is just as valuable a tool in persuasion as expertise in litigation is to a lawyer, or as skills in diagnosis is a physician. People who can read human nature, who can size up others quickly, who can arrive at an accurate estimate of character, no matter what their vocation of profession, have a great advantage over others. The ability to look deeply into others' nature is a cultivative quality, and we have a great opportunity to study this when we deal with multitudes of people. It is an education in itself to form the habits of measuring, weighing, estimating the different people we meet, for in this way we are improving our own powers of observation, sharpening our perspective faculties, improving our judgment. Successful men and women attribute their career's advancement to this understanding of others mentally and motivation. It has enabled them to deal more effectively with their bosses, their subordinates, their coworkers, customers, vendors, and the public. No two mentalities are exactly alike, and you must approach each one through an avenue of the least resistance. Learn the other person's personal interest. If a person is passionately fond of music, or crazy about golf, or its connoisseur of art, this may give you a hint as to the right line of approach. Top salespersons make a practice of carefully filtering out the interests, hobbies, and special concerns of prospects, such as sports teams the prospect favors, the ages of their children, and similar details, and interrogates their finding into the sales presentations. This works equally well when dealing with those people in the other organization with whom you must develop good relationships in order to move up to career ladder. Do not be hasty in your judgment or make your mind too quickly in sizing up people. Hold your decision abeyance until you have read off the character hieroglyphics written on the face and the person and the matter. For all these significance and each means something. In other words, read all people's remarks and characters label. Get on the evidence you can instead of acting as form quickly expression, because of a great deal depends on the accuracy of judgments. Reread the discussion of body language in chapter 14. The face is a bulletin board. It is a program of the performance going on inside, and the important things to learn and to read it quickly and accurately. The facial expressions, the attitude, the manner, the language, the looks in the eye are letters to the character alphabet that spell out the individual's personality. Everything that is natural, spontaneous, unpremeditated, it is dictated of certain qualities a person possesses, and as that person is putting on or is posing, you can pierce the mask of pretense and discuss it. Sum and substance. In your job and other aspects of your life, you often have to persuade people to accept your ideas. To succeed, you must think like a salesperson. In order to persuade another person to buy your product or service or to accept your ideas, you must first get that person's full attention. Otherwise, nothing you say will even be listened to. You must arouse the desire to possess the things you have for sale or to embrace the ideas you are proposing. Once this is accomplished, acceptance is almost certain. Do this, you must appeal to emotions, to the heart rather than the head. No matter how intelligent or competent you may be, your advancements in your career depends on developing good relationships with other people. Your bosses, your coworkers, your subordinates, your customers, and others with whom you must interact. Keep in mind that people are different, and what persuades one may not have any influence on another. Get to know your employees, colleagues, the people outside of your department and company with whom you deal as individual human beings. If you wish to persuade others to accept a concept, study all of the negative aspects that may be brought up by others to be prepared to rebuild them, or if they are valid, to show how the advantage of the concept overweights the disadvantage. Before taking your final step, give yourself a pep talk. This will activate your subconscious mind to reinforce your confidence that you will succeed. Turning your dream into a strategic dream. Dream big. Peace.